Jesus answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God." Matthew 4, verse 4. Before you start fasting, if you have never fasted before, I would suggest you get yourself a book or do your research regarding the different types of fasting, what your body can take, up to what limits your body can take, whatever it can and cannot take. I bought a book called God's Chosen Fast by Arthur Willis a few years ago, which basically helped me with the physical side and the spiritual side of fasting. So then I knew what I could do and to what extent I could do it. So I will advise you to also try and do your research on the internet or buy a book, anything that could help you to do this fasting effectively. Hello and welcome to my channel. So this video is about a 40 days fasting and praying that I did with a congregation that I used to be part of when I was living in London. I'm just going to speak about some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that I feel like I've gained, and obviously after doing such a long fast there should be some sort of like changes that you would like to make to your life. Now the thing is, this is not the first time I've done this fasting. I have done it before. I've done it for a couple of years since I've been with the congregation in London. And although I'm currently not in London, I decided to still join them this time to do it because it had been a long time since I had actually done this sort of fasting. Now, the type that I did was dry fasting. Obviously, sort of like semi-dry, because when you say dry, that means you actually don't take a shower, you don't brush your teeth, you don't basically do anything, add moisture to your body. But the one that I did is semi-dry, but let's just call it dry fasting. And basically with that one, you don't actually eat or drink anything for a certain amount of time. What I did was I basically did not eat or drink anything from my previous dinner. So I was basically having one meal a day, and so basically I'll get home for about 7 o'clock, have my meal around 7:30, 8:30, and then I will not eat again until the following evening. It was a pretty challenging experience, considering that recently I've been eating more regularly and much better. It was a very challenging experience in the beginning. I totally forgot how challenging that was, having done it a year ago, and also having not really done it consciously on a regular basis. I totally forgot how difficult it could be. So I have actually written a few things down as to what I want to discuss. And just so I don't, go through my head and trying to find some words to say, I have written a few things down. I think that's about it with the fasting. Actually, today is Sunday, the 4th of November 2018, and it is the final day of this fasting. I believe we started on the 26th or 27th of October. I believe it was. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's when we started it. The experience is very difficult, but as time went on I got used to it, and even up until now I'm still used to it. I know there are a few people that have tried having one meal a day as a way of life, and I have actually seen several videos about how we basically do not need 3 meals a day, but we actually need one. And most of the time I found that I was actually more thirsty than hungry, and maybe it might be because my stomach has shrunk. But yes, with all that said, I just want to get into the spirituality of the whole process, what I have learned, and what I will like to do going forward. Now, I have got here what I've learned. Number one, I've got think clearer. I was able to think a lot clearer, in the sense that I didn't have too much on my mind. I was able to make decisions in the sense that once all my body defenses were taken away, I noticed actually, not only did I not stop eating, but I also cut down on social media a bit. I regularly post on my Instagram of the food that I eat, and I realized that by not doing that, I actually saved a lot of time. I basically had a lot of time to study. I had a lot of time to do other things like editing my videos. But yeah, it's basically enabled me to make all those decisions, and it's a good decision, because for a while you will feel like you're in bondage of having to post all the time, because you have to, you know, stay on top of your social media stuff. And I was okay with it. I actually stopped posting, I think a week or two into it. I just realized, you know what, let me just stop everything, because it's just way too much. Let me just chill out and try and, you know, focus on things that are much more important. I also feel a lot lighter. In the sense that obviously when I started eating regularly, it helped me to put on a considerable amount of weight to be able to fit in some of my size 6 and size 8 UK stuff, which was good. But it helped me to feel a lot lighter, in the sense that I didn't feel too drained down. This was especially in the mornings, and also enabled me. It enabled me to concentrate a lot better when I was studying. I was more productive, especially in the mornings. I was more productive, and sometimes I will find myself in deep thoughts of things. It could be about the past, and it was usually it wasn't up until getting to the end where I would think a lot about the past. And I think this is the disadvantages of, not the disadvantages, but what I sort of didn't like. I found myself thinking about the things that people have done against me and thinking, oh my gosh, and I'm like, no, let's not think about that, let's think about something else. And yeah, so that's what I've got. I found myself in deep thoughts about a whole lot of stuff, and most importantly, I found myself in deep thoughts about how God helped me in so many situations, in so many dangers, how he helped me to escape. But then dwelling on so much on that, I felt like it wasn't a good idea, so I had to quickly switch back to something else that was more motivating. And yeah, so that was what I learned, and this is just to describe my experience about as the day went by. So in the morning I was more energetic, I get a lot done, you know, I do so many things, I'm able to do a lot of studying. But as the day goes down, I become extremely tired, and I was just like so tired. And yeah, I begin to find it very difficult to focus, and it's like, so how to like get up off of my desk for a while, or try and read some sort of news, or look on my phone. You know, you can get a bit distracted getting to the end of the day, because obviously your body has used all the energy from the food that I ate from the previous day and the water that I drink from the previous day onto the next. So it was a bit difficult to keep on top of things as the day went by. And also, if you don't keep busy, you will feel sleepy. So when I'm at work, I'm fine, like I'm always doing something, I have something to do, so I'm like alert. And you know, coming home, I'm driving, so I'm like really alert. But I took some time off to do some studying, and I found myself wanting to sleep. I'm like, okay, let me just lie down for a bit, and then before I realize, I'm asleep, and I wake up at 5 o'clock. I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to end this fast now, drink some water, and then find some food to eat. And also, I also noticed that on the spirituality side, I find myself feeling more energized and more strengthened after I have prayed. But obviously I have to end the fast, so I do end the fast. But I do on a regular basis during the past 40 days fasting and praying, I tried to not push myself, but I tried to pray whilst I'm at work. I'll probably go into the toilet and then say a little bit of prayer, or I'll try and open some, you know, scripture on the computer and try and read it, just to, you know, keep on top of, you know, the whole purpose of the fasting. So yeah, I think that's just about it. So now I'm just going to be ranting. But as I said before, I realized that having to, you know, the pressure of having to post on social media all the time was taken off of me. I mean, I was still doing everything that I was doing. I was still working out, but I wasn't posting on social media, and it really helped me to sort of like think about what was more important. Like, no one actually has to know exactly what you're doing all the time, and I feel like I'm going to be cutting down on the social media, because obviously, number one, I've got some exams coming up, and this fasting has enabled me to come to the realization that I need to spend more time doing the most important things, which is studying and spending time with God. So yes, as I have said, this was a great experience. There were some benefits. My skin basically is uber clear. I mean, I've got makeup on now, but I don't have any visible spots. And also, yeah, I think that's one of the physical that's one of the physical benefits that I got from it. And obviously, all the time in the past, having done the fasting, it has helped me to, you know, get better skin. And obviously, as we all know, food, even vegetables that people go so crazy about, has a lot of chemicals on it, the pesticides. And when you eat less, or when you sort of like don't eat as much, your skin is basically building itself by your intestines getting rid of toxins. So one thing I found is that when you do not eat, your body is repairing itself, and this is something that I've read before. Your body is repairing itself and is basically getting rid of toxins by your own organs doing the work. So your digestive system is taking a rest from the regular, you know, digesting of food. But obviously, you still do have to eat, but you have to have a balanced diet. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. I really do think that's it. But I'm trying to remember if there's any other things. I think the only downside is I seem to have lost appetite for food. But obviously there are some things that I'm like, oh, I am craving this. 1 minute I'm craving this, 1 minute I'm craving that. But as time has gone on, I have lost appetite for food, and I tend to be a lot more thirstier. And obviously, I think anyone who has done any research in, you know, human eating will know that sometimes when we think we're hungry, we're actually not hungry. We basically need water. We're thirsty rather than hungry. So we think that we're hungry, but we're actually not hungry. We are thirsty. All in all, I am actually grateful that I did this. But I think maybe going forward, I will probably try and do this once a week rather than doing it all in bulk, because it has put a lot of pressure on myself. I feel like I've put a lot of pressure on my body. Although, with that said, I do feel like I am glad that I actually did it. And I don't know if I have mentioned this before, but I did it from dinner to dinner. So I only had 1 meal a day. Yes, I had 1 meal a day. I am grateful that God gave me the opportunity and the strength to be able to go through all this 40 days fasting and praying. And my hope and my prayer is that it will be a sweet smelling savor unto his holy name. And obviously did it all just to, you know, draw closer to him and to you know, just spend time with him, basically. I mean, you do still spend time with God when you're eating, but it's got a special touch to it. Anyways, I think I've said everything, and I'm probably spoken way too long. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and until next time, it is bye-bye from me. Bye. If you have any questions regarding anything I've said, just let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. Bye.